Hello everyone, welcome to the RAAONLINE lecture series on neurophysiology. This session will be seeing about thalamus. I hope you all know about the significance of the thalamus because without this part of the brain, no information is reaching the cerebral cortex and no information is leaving out of the brain also. So let us see the nucleus of the thalamus, both the specific and non-specific nucleus, afferent and efferent connections of the thalamus, what are the different functions of the thalamus, and little bit about the clinical aspects of the thalamic syndrome. Okay, so what is thalamus? Basically, they are nothing but a collection of neurons. Okay, so they have different nuclei and all the nuclei are collected into different groups based on anatomy as well as functional wise. Okay, so all these collection of neuronal groups which is present within the diencephalon, they form this thalamus. Okay, so they are collection of neurons. So functionally we can classify these neurons as sensory neurons, motor neurons, or neurons associated with limbic functions. Okay, so this thalamus is actually a relay station. Okay, so how a train is going to the junction. So a train may go from one place to another, and in between there will be a common place called as junction. So that is a place where various trains come in and various trains go out also to different places. That is how this thalamus also behaving in our neural function. It is a gateway or junction for the various sensations as well as the motor activities that is enabled by the help of the brain. Okay, so that's how it's a gateway to the cerebral cortex. So this is the area, location of the thalamus. You can see here, this globular structure is the thalamus and below that will be the hypothalamus. Okay, so above the thalamus, it is related to the corpus callosum, and just around the thalamus you have got different nuclei of the basal ganglia. All these are interrelated. We'll see in detail. Thalamus, it's nothing but the collection of neurons. You know, collection of neurons within this brain, it is called as nuclei. Okay, outside the brain it is called as ganglion. Within the central nervous system we call them as nuclei. Okay, so the thalamic nuclei anatomically they have 5 groups. One is the anterior group. So this is the anterior group which is composed of anterior nucleus of thalamus. So here is the anterior nucleus of the thalamus. Okay, anterior nucleus of the thalamus is here. Next is the medial group, which includes mediodorsal nucleus. Okay, so here is where we have got the medial nucleus, mediodorsal nucleus. Then we have got lateral group. Lateral group includes lateral dorsal, lateral posterior and pulvinar. You can see here the pulvinar is here, lateral posterior is here, and lateral dorsal will be here. Then we have got ventral group of nuclei, wherein very important nuclei are present in this ventral group, ventro-anterior and ventrolateral, and this is the ventro-anterior and this is the ventrolateral nucleus. And then we have got ventro-posterior group of nuclei, which is again divided into ventro-posterolateral and ventro-posteromedial. Okay, apart from that, the medial geniculate body, this one, and the lateral geniculate body, these also belong to ventral groups. Okay. And in addition to this, we have got one intralaminar nuclear group, which is having centromedial nucleus. Actually, this is not shown here in this picture. So again, we have got these different nuclei. We have got, this is the ventral part, this is the medial part. We have got midline nucleus, dorsomedial nucleus. In between, we have got intralaminar nucleus. This is the dorsal group of nucleus. Dorsolateral, posterolateral, pulvinar. Then this is the ventral group of nuclei, ventro-anterior, ventrolateral and ventro-posterolateral group. Okay. Apart from that, you have got medial geniculate body and lateral geniculate body. These are the specific nuclei. This thalamic nuclei is separated from non-specific reticular nucleus by means of this external medullary lamina. Okay, so these are the different nuclei of the thalamus which is represented anatomically. So we divide the thalamus into 3 parts: epithalamus, dorsal thalamus, ventral thalamus. Okay, So epithalamus is nothing but the structures that is related to the thalamus just above the thalamus. They are nothing but pineal body and habenular complex. Okay, so you know pineal body, it is receiving its projections from suprachiasmatic nucleus. Okay, the suprachiasmatic nucleus is responsible for the maintenance of the circadian rhythm of our body on biological clock. Okay, so that is in relation to that suprachiasmatic nucleus, thalamus is also involved in that function. Okay, then sympathetic nervous system and olfactory areas. See, this habenular complex is related to this olfactory areas. In that way, thalamus is related to olfactory areas also. Okay, so these are the different epithalamic neurons or structures, and then the projections received in that structures. Then coming to the dorsal thalamus, there are 4 types of nuclei present in the dorsal thalamus. This is very, very important. This includes specific sensory nuclei, non-specific projection nuclei, nuclei concerned with efferent control, nuclei concerned with higher functions. You can see here. Okay, next is, repeating the slide. Next is the dorsal thalamus. There are 4 important types of nuclei present in the dorsal thalamus. These include specific sensory relay nuclei, which relay only specific functions of our body or specific sensations. The nuclei concerned with efferent control, which is related to the fibers which is affecting the descending pathways. Okay, non-specific projection nucleus. Here this nucleus receives information from various other sensations which are non-specifically carrying. Okay, it's not specific to any particular sensation. The nuclei concerned with higher functions. We'll see one by one.